it's Jodie, your friendly neighborhood SEO expert, back again with another episode of SEO Snippets for savvy pet businesses. And today it seems like I'm on a bit of a theme this week because I am going to be talking about blogging and its benefits for pet business. So blogs are like belly rubs, always appreciated and still super powerful for SEO. There's so many factors to why blogs are still important, and I do understand the time constraints that people have when it comes to blogs and blogging, especially in small businesses, but they truly are the gift that just keeps on giving. And yes, they are still very much vital to any SEO strategy in 2025 and into beyond, especially with the development of AI and AI search, because the way people search in AI and the way AI results are appearing from what I've seen is more contextual than you'd probably find on most standard pages. The contextual nature of blogs and the allowance with blogs to be more nuanced in your answers around a particular topic is how you're going to drive more traffic and combat any possible traffic drops you might see due to AI by appearing in AI with blogs. Because whether someone's using Google and getting an AI overview, or they're going into an AI standalone product like ChatGTP, Perplexity, or Claude, or any of the new ones coming out every day, the way people use AI for search means that they're putting more context into their search instructions, which means that the AI is going to surface websites and web pages that have more context in them, which is where blogs fit right in. So yes, you do still need a blog in 2025, and there is so many benefits. I know last week in the bonus episode I did talk about blogging as well. So the key benefits to blogging is they can drive more traffic to your site through appearing in more search results than just if you had products, services, and your home pages as the only pages on your website. Think of it as, I said it on my live this morning with Kathy. I said it in my masterclass last week with pet businesses. Think of blogs as additional doors into your business. They're additional ways for your business and your brand to appear in search results for your ideal customer and gets them seeing your brand more. And they're a great way to answer. And I spoke a little bit about this on my live with Kathy, and we spoke about how the easiest way to start blogging is just to answer some customer queries and customer questions. So go look at the questions you get sent, the questions that appear in your social posts, the questions that come through via email, questions that maybe just randomly pop up in your audience and your community about your product or your business, and answer them in long form content in a blog, or find group questions together and turn them in, like if they're similar questions, and turn them into a single blog. Because there's a few things there. Not only will that then appear in search results when someone else is searching that question, because if your customers are asking it, you can bet there are plenty more customers out there asking that question. And someone else could have answered it for sure. But you have to remember, you have a unique voice, you have a unique outlook or viewpoint, and you have your own unique experiences. Just make sure those are interwoven in your answers. I think I talk about this a lot when it comes to blogging, but I think it's a really integral part of SEO these days. And really, it has been always, but getting more and more prevalent these days with people wanting to choose brands. Like, people have always chosen brands that they have affinity or a connection or some sort of knowledge of, right? Like, just think about how you choose brands when you go shopping or when you search online. It's generally you're going to, even if there's something else that might rank higher in the search results, you're going to be drawn to a brand you know over a brand you don't, right? Because you've built up because that brand has built up not only their brand, but also their authority. So, what blogs can do is help with that brand building and authority building and that cementing of you as an expert in whatever field you have your business in, or having some sort of expertise, maybe not a top expert, but you have some sort of expertise and authority in this particular field. And the way SEO is moving, especially with the integration of AI, is that people are going to want to connect to those brands they know. Building up your brand or building up your authority through blogging is also a way to set you apart from the rest. And in the world of AI, you definitely want to set yourself apart from the rest. And you can use AI to write your blogs. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with getting your outlines done by blogs, doing some ideation and brainstorming using AI, even getting like the bulk and the chunkiness of the blog written with the help of AI. Although I would recommend, if you're going to use AI to write a blog, start with questions. Say like, or do a bit of a brainstorm with AI, okay? And then you pick your topic, right? So say you're going to write a blog post on, we'll go with the toilet training thing. I want to write a blog post on top 10 tips to toilet training. Maybe you pick a specific breed, say Dachshund puppies. Go to AI and say, I want to write a blog post on toilet training Dachshund puppies. What are some questions that you can ask me to help you write this blog? And what will happen is the AI, ChatGPT, whatever AI, will give you a list of questions that are going to be integral to the topic area. But what then happens is you answer those questions, right? And then so AI is not really writing the blog because you're actually feeding it the information. They're just kind of turning the word vomit you put into them into a more pretty look, right? So like that's how I write a lot of my blogs is I will go to AI and have a conversation and be like, okay, I want to write a blog on this topic. What are some ideas? And we'll go back and forth. Like it's my favorite way really to write anything using AI is to ask it questions because then I know my voice, my knowledge, and my experience is going to be infused. I then still go in and edit and make changes and adapt and then even once I get that draft out of AI and I put it in Grammarly to check grammar and spelling, I may put it in an SEO writing tool I have to make sure that it's optimized. Even after all of that, when I go to publish it, I will still go, oh, actually, this section, say like I was writing a blog about Google Search Console. Oh, this section, oh, there's a tip. I know, like I read through it again and I go, oh, there's an extra tip. Like I use this tool or I use this way or I do this. Like I still add my own personal experience, just shove them in there in little tool tips or things like that as pull out quotes or something. It just adds more and more uniqueness and more of you into the blogs. It's all about putting yourself into your blog and speaking the language of, whilst also speaking the language of your customer. Now, here's the thing. There's so many other benefits, and I've spoken about them before to blogging. And like one of the other core things that I talk about is how that blog can then turn into content for emails, social media, all of that. But something that people don't quite think about sometimes is it's really good for local SEO, right? If you're a dog groomer and your service area maybe includes a few different suburbs, like you get people, you don't like, you're not just like a really small area that you service, it's actually quite large. So you're trying to work out, because like what I would say for local SEO, and I'll have an episode on that further down the track, is inserting localized keywords onto your contact page is a core component of SEO. But what blogging can help you do as well is insert some of those keywords into blogs. Like if say, like I'm in Budgie Boy, right? In the Central Coast. If I wanted to write a blog post about SEO support in Budgie Boy or content writing in Budgie Boy, I could do that. Or I would put that on my contact page and then I would write a broader blog post about the Central Coast because and mentioned like Lake Haven I'd mentioned, Tuggerah I'd mentioned, all the different areas I'm willing to travel to. And it would be the same if you're a dog groomer or if you're a dog trainer and you're happy to travel a bit out of your area. Your contact page probably will list all those areas. So that's a great like core part of local SEO. But you could then do a blog post about training in outside environments or something like that, and then talk to the different areas you go to do training, how you go to a dog park in one suburb, but then you might go to a cafe in a different suburb, and then you get to mention, like, it's just dropping those little bits of crumbs and treats essentially throughout your website, telling Google this is kind of the areas you should appear, because Google search results are very localized as well. Like, search results are unique to the user, so it's about trying to get you into front of every possible user that you can. Blogging is also another great way to showcase your products if you're an e-commerce brand, and it's also another great way to help build backlinks. Now, Google isn't a fan of reciprocal linking anymore. It used to be a thing, which is where you swap links with people essentially, but you can get away with it in the right context. So, like, if say one of like if you have a few different brands that you know, other pet brands that you know, and maybe you know a treat brand but you sell collars and leashes, and the treat brand's thinking of doing like well, we've just had Mother's Day, maybe they're thinking of doing a blog around like presents to give a dog mum, or maybe not Mother's Day, maybe Christmas is probably a better one, where, or it's like Easter was just gone, best Easter presents for your dog. You can like get in there and work with your like this treat brand, and they might feature their products, but then they feature your products and link back to your site. That's a backlink win. But it's contextual, like it makes sense. It makes sense for that brand to write that blog. It also makes sense for you to be featured in that blog. So it's a way to help build your brand awareness by also appearing on other people's websites as well as your own. And it's a way that you can help support other pet businesses as well by doing a blog on your site that covers multiple different products. But the biggest SEO win about blogging, right? And me and Kathy discussed this on our live, is that by regularly blogging, you are updating your website, which sends positive signals to Google and other search engines to say that you're constantly on top of managing, staying up to date, you're in line. So think about it like this. So you have your homepage, your services page, and your product page. You're probably not going to update them a lot of the time. You might update like product quantities, but that's not going to really show on the front end that much. So there's not going to be these update signals sent to Google or search algorithms. And what that means is, what can happen is, according to Google, your website can be seen as stagnant if you're not updating it. They could be like, oh, well, this hasn't been touched for a while. Why would we surface this in a search result today when it hasn't been updated since January 2023? It does sound ridiculous, right? Why would there be a website being surfaced in search results in 2025 that hasn't been updated since 2023? Now, you could have updated it. You could have had products selling all the time, so you've changed the quantities and things like that. But if there's not substantial updates, so that's where blogging comes in. If you've been updating a blog a month, that's sending a signal to Google and other algorithms to say, this business is still active, they're still engaged with their website, they're still engaged with their industry and whatever. So it just sends those positive signals that just overall helps boost the overall SEO of your website. So whether you have a blog or whether you're still hesitant to start one, I say stop putting it off and just start. And if you already have a blog, well done. I would say stay on it, stay on it. Look to Google for any sort of ideas. Look to your customer base for ideas. Look to your social posts for ideas. Like, there's so many easy access ways to start blogging, and especially with AI, like even like going and using your social posts and say, how can I turn this into a blog? What additional information? Go and Google the topic and see what's ranking for it. My best tip would be, if you're thinking of writing a blog about a particular topic, go Google it. See what other questions are asked. See what the autofill comes up when you start typing that topic. See what pages are currently ranking for that topic and what they've got on their blogs. And then make sure you kind of incorporate it all into yours, and you're bound to see some beautiful results. And once you start getting into that good habit of blogging, it will just become another part of your growing marketing ecosystem. And it will just become like second nature, and you'll start seeing those increases in overall traffic to your website, but also in particular pages as well. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that made you understand why blogs are still important. I'll be back next week with another bonus episode. I'm not 100% sure what it's about. But yeah, if you have any blog ideas that you want to have me give any feedback on, drop them in the comments. If you have any ideas for future episodes, let me know. This was kind of another blog. This seems like a blog heavy week, but I hope it was helpful. See you soon.